Okay, so we're going to kind of focus on our 6 directional footwork in a few different ways tonight. So this is something I've been hitting pretty hard in our empty hand class, and it's something I want you to try and make sure you have in your sort of toolbox as well. Now, just to kind of review, our 6 directional footwork is just that. It's 6 directions. It's 2 going forward, 2 going lateral, and 2 going backward. So I step forward 45, forward on a 45, lateral direction, back at a 45, and back at a 45. Okay, so forward at 45 on the female triangle, lateral, and backward, and backward. I've also heard it referred to as the asterisk footwork, but we usually refer to it as 6 directional or the escala. Okay, so this is direction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, yes, there's more that you can do. Right now, that's the main 6 we're going to do. So the first sort of variant that I want to try and introduce with you is just the variant of dropping your weight. Okay, so as I step in, you drop a lunge, step in and drop a lunge, step lateral, drop a lunge, step lateral, drop a lunge, step on the male triangle and drop a lunge, or drop a lunge, and step on the male triangle and drop a lunge. Okay, so when we do our dropping of the lunge, that's 2 things, twofold. We're doing it, 1, so we can kind of strengthen ourselves, get our balance, but it also comes in really handy when you start to incorporate into our Silat work. There's a lot of Silat work that involves stepping over something and then dropping down. A lot of them also will incorporate the sort of Dempak and Simpak style squats. You can definitely work those in your 6 directions as well. We'll get there. So that's your first one. It's just a step and a lunge, a step and a lunge. Okay? Now, another one that you can work here is being very adamant that you just focus on the target ahead of you. There's nothing else around you, complete tunnel vision, right? So that means in the event that I have someone standing right in front of me, I'll use a stick as a dummy here. So my focus should not shift from this stick here, okay? So I step off on the 45, maintaining this focus here. Step off on the 45, maintaining this focus here. I step off on the lateral, maintaining that focus. Step off on the lateral, maintaining that focus. Now I step back on the male triangle, maintaining that focus, and step back on the male triangle, maintaining that focus. Okay? So that's a solid, a steady focal point, dead center. Okay? That's one way of working these. Now, the next one you can do, I had never thought of this until I took a class with Kirk Cornwell out of MKG Detroit. It just, for some reason, it was one of those things that was right there all along, and he just happened to kind of shine a light on it for me. So thank you, sir. Now, as you step in each direction, you look in that direction. Weird, right? So I step at a 45, I look at a 45. I step in a 45, I look at a 45. I step on a lateral triangle, I look at that lateral. Step on the lateral, I look at that lateral. Now I go to the male triangle, I step, and I turn my gaze all the way here, and I step and I turn my gaze all the way back here. It works great for trying to teach people multiple opponent awareness. You can't always have that tunnel vision, so you need to have that mindset of either looking for escape routes or looking for their friends who are trying to sneak up behind you. So now you have the idea of facing each of these 6 different directions as you're doing them. Yeah. So now we're going to get into some of the more difficult stuff here. So what we're going to do first is, as I kind of alluded to earlier, the idea of the Dempak and Simpak. Now, in Silat, we tend to refer to the Simpak and Dempak almost interchangeably, even though there are distinctions. I will probably get it wrong, so if I do, sorry, I'm trying here. But from what I can think is, as I slide my foot back, I'm doing a Dempak, and as I slide my foot forward, I'm doing a Simpak. Again, if I have those 2 flip-flops, I'm sorry, please let me know, and I'll correct it. I'll put out like an amendment video or whatever I need to do. But what we're going to do is we're going to work that same 6 directions, okay? So in order to go off of this line here, I'm going to take my right foot, I'm going to step across my weight, I'm going to drop my weight and stand up, bring it back. Step my left foot across, drop, bring it back. I'm going to step laterally with my right, step and drop. I'm going to step laterally with my left, step and drop. Bring it back up. Now I step back. When I step this one back, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop my right foot back here like this. I'm going to drop and step up. Drop my left foot back, step back, drop, and up. So what I'm doing when I do this is I slide my foot and I drop my weight. You sort of close in on yourself here like so. You fold in, right? And then you spring back up. Now, my wife and I did a 32-mile bicycle ride yesterday, so if I'm not springing all the way up, that's why, not an excuse, it's the truth. But I'll show you the next one. So the next sort of stage of this is as I step through and I drop down, now I spring up, drop in again, facing the new direction, and I bring it back. Now technically I should have done that 3 different times. So this is 1, 2, 3, bring it back. This is a bad idea after the ride. 1, 2, and 3, and bring it back. I move on the lateral. This is now 1, 2, and 3. Step back, step on the lateral. 1, 2, and 3, and step back. Now I step back on the male triangle. I step back here in the male triangle, drop 1, pivot around 2, pivot around 3, and step back up. And I step back for the dem block here, drop back, drop down, and back up. Okay, so that is how we would incorporate some different focal points as well as some Silat footwork into our 6-directional footwork. Now, any one of these positions you should be able to spring up out of and be able to fire right into other entries and combinations. You should also be able to drop into any of these positions here and be able to go right away into your ground kicks. Back up. So that's all stuff that you can start to add as you know it. But for right now, I figured this would be a good start to get you in the sort of mobility required. And I'm sure I was a terrible display of that mobility today. But I still think that the knowledge should be shown. I think that's a great way of drilling this. So again, work your 6 directions, starting with a lunge, and then slowly start to add the simpox and then dimpox. So thank you very much.